Yo, what is up, everybody? It's Peace. Welcome to another video. We got Eddie on the channel for the first time. What do you got for us today, Eddie?
So I've got my Superheavy Samurai Centurion list.
Oh my god, it's so spicy. I took a look at it earlier. I cannot wait to get this profile.
Yeah, all right. So I guess we'll hop on in. We're going to go with the most standard stuff first. You run your three of your Primera and Chirdeas. Primera just gets you your field spell, which gets you to the Chirdea.
Yes.
So obviously you just have to max out on these. And I run two Emeth. It's just because if you open one of this, since we're not on Centurion bonds, you really can't get this out of your hand.
Yeah.
So it has to be in deck to summon. So
Right.
You run two. So that's actually it for the Centurion monsters.
Okay.
I think it's pretty standard for those, though.
Yeah.
Next up, Superheavy Samurai. We max out on every starter that is not taking normal summon.
Yes.
Because our normal summon is important for these guys.
Yeah, you gotta.
And then this is our payoff for the combo. And the same reasoning as Emeth, we run two Big Benkei. You're a freak if you run one because you got to be lucky to not open
Yeah,
it.
if you draw it, then you're not sitting pretty.
So yeah, once we get to the extra deck, I'll explain more what these cards really do.
Awesome.
Because in the main, they don't really have any main synergy.
Right.
And then that's it for the Super Heavy Samurai. So yeah, you max out on all of your engine,
Okay.
and then you get rid of everything else. You don't need it. You don't need scales. That's win more. Next up, we are on our hand traps slash non-engine. So we're on 3 Droll.
Nice.
We're on 3 Ash. We're on 3 DD Crow. I like Crow for every
Crow
matchup.
in this format, nice.
Yeah, it's also good versus Silent Force as well. So you hit low out of the grave. So it basically is a good matchup versus everything right now, I feel. And then 2 Nib. I just didn't have room for the third, and I don't really like 3 Nib right now.
And you play 40, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense.
And I have the third one in the side.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Next up, you have non-engine. You have your 3 Fenris.
Okay,
Fenrir
nice.
is the best card in the deck. It just it helps you going second and first. You don't ever synchro it off. You just leave it on the board.
Yeah.
It's just too good. Next up, you have 3 discards. So right now it's the 2 Shovelers and a Trick Clown. The
That's
Trick Clown, it should be Metal Foes Fusion if you have access to it. Just because it can get itself out of the graveyard and replace itself, so your Super Heavy Samurais are no longer offline.
Okay. This can turn on your Super Heavy Samurais by shuffling your spells and traps.
Yep, exactly. So
Nice.
I think that's like probably the best one in that slot. But for now, Tricon's okay. We have reasoning score in the side. But that's it for the non-engine actually.
Okay.
The rest is all engine. But as you can see, we have a nice spread of non-engine.
Yes.
Pick and choose whatever you'd like. Next up, we have the rest of our engine for the Centurions. We have 3 stand-ups. You got to run 3, and same with Oath. Oath is more copies of these and your monsters.
Yes.
So, that's realistically the end of the main deck. Now we can get into what makes the deck run, which is the extra deck.
Perfect.
So, I'm just going to throw these up to the side really quick, and we'll come back to them while they're relevant.
Okay.
So next up, we have 2 Legatia. You don't really want to run 1 in case you run into like the cash matchup. They can get rid of it out of extra.
Banish it face down.
Yeah, and this card is insane for the grind in general, drawing you more cards for advantage, and also recycling from the grave your other Centurions.
Yes.
So that's really important to keep them in rotation. Next up, I only like 1 Crimson Dragon. The extra deck's a little tight right now, so you could run 2, but by the time the 1 gets negated, you're already in a grind game.
Yeah.
So you're realistically not going to get a second Crimson Dragon off.
Right.
So I only like 1. One good thing to note is that it only has 0 attack, so Legatia will protect it from battle.
Nice.
So if they just leave it there, they have to answer it at one point.
Yeah.
So it just gets to stay there. And then, I'm sorry, but you have to run the Archfiend as your main target to lock the turn.
Yes, you do.
But Blazar's cool. Blazar negates anything
I
in the
love
game.
it. So good.
Yeah, so I do think you have to run. I like this as my optimal 12 spread.
Yes.
I like this.
Yeah, this is good.
Next up, let's get into what makes the Super Heavy Samurai engine really good. So, we are running a Enigmaster Pack Bit. So,
A new card.
yeah, so this card just came out in Phantom Nightmare. It's really, really good because of the versatility. So, if you have extra bodies with your Super Heavy Samurais, what you can do is you can turn your Wakaushi and your Mask into the Pack Bit. And this turns into a new 8 for you. So now you have an 8 to synchro off with your Primera in order to make Legatia.
Nice.
So, if you go through this line, you go like this, and then you summon your Legatia. Chainlink 1, if you go Packbit, since it does not discard for cost, you can go Legatia 2 to draw a card and say it's a blank card like one of your discard engines. You draw this, and then you can discard it off of Packbit to put itself into the back row.
Nice.
While this monster is in the back row, you get to either player's turn, once per turn, summon a card from your back row onto the board. So if you're missing half of a Legatia, you can always summon either your, I guess, I don't know about that ruling yet, but what you can do is you can always just summon more Centurions if you need to.
Yes.
Which is great. It also helps in the random times where Flamberge puts one of your Centurions into the back row as a spell.
Yes.
Normally it's stuck, but Packbit will get it out of the grave for you, or out of the back row for you.
Nice.
So it's really versatile. It works on both players' turns.
Sick.
If you don't go for the Packbit line and you say you want to go for another 12 on your turn, you can synchro these two yet again into your Tilting Entrainment. What Tilting Entrainment does is, if you guys ever looked at the Super Heavy engine, you can summon back your Wakaushi with the Tilting Entrainment. So it's
the extra
important,
deck, right?
Yes, from the extra deck face up. So make sure you don't activate your Wakaushi's effect to scale itself back yet. You will do that next.
Okay.
So after you synchro those two up, you make Tilting Entrainment. Effect, it will summon back your Wakaushi, and you synchro these into whatever 12 you're looking for. So now you can summon a Crimson Dragon turn 1 while you still have a Legatia on board.
Yes.
And then you can activate the effect of your Wakaushi to rescale it. So now you have full scales.
Yeah, full pendulum scales.
You have a Crimson Dragon that gets to tag out turn one into your
Blazar. Nice.
So that protects your turn much easier to things like Infinite Impermanence.
Yes.
Because that would typically
stop your Crimson Dragon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is really, it's really solid. But yeah, so that's a lot of what the engine can really do for you, but it does more too. Because the Super Heavy Samurai engine also gives you access to rank 4s.
Alright.
So in this next format, you always have a Dweller, you have a Win Con in Time, and you have my favorite card, you have Infernal Flame Banshee.
What? This searches a Pyro. What are you searching off that?
So, out of all of the monsters in the main deck, Shurdea just so happens to be a Pyro monster.
Nice. So, and she's full combo, right?
And she is full combo.
That's awesome.
So, the Super Heavy Samurai engine equals full combo.
Exactly. If you brick, you literally just drop a 1 card and it's a full. That's so good.
So we've added 6 more 1-card combos with the 3 Bike and the 3 Wakaushi. Really good.
Yes, that's so sick.
It also gives you access to Zeus, which I think Zeus is really good this format.
Yeah, that's really strong.
It's non-destruction removal.
Yes.
And then also, I'm just on Typhon because I had the 1 slot for it.
Yeah.
Typhon's really good.
Yeah, it can come up and it's really strong.
Yep. I like it into the fire, a lot of the fire guys. So
yeah.
Next up, we're on 3 different Link monsters. One, we are on Artemis. So Artemis is good because your main tuner of the deck is Primera, and if she gets like impermed or something and she's stuck on board, you can turn it into an Artemis to make your SP.
Okay, nice. So that gets her off the field for you. Nice.
Yep, and also if you're on the goofy stuff and you're not on Metal Post Fusion, this is also a spellcaster for you.
Yeah, and you can link it up into Artemis. Nice.
Yep.
Actually, if you draw this is a 1-card SP because you can just link off into Artemis.
Yeah, so
nice.
Yeah, it's super sick. And obviously we're on the SP.
Yes, of course, you gotta play it.
And here's the worst card in the extra deck. We're on Gravity Controller.
So, when does that come up?
So it only comes up on hands where you don't have enough monsters to take the Packbit off a board.
Okay.
So if you don't have access to another level 4 tuner, you can always go Packbit effect from Graveyard by summoning it in the EMZ.
Okay.
And you link it off in the EMZ to make Gravity Controller.
Okay. Yeah.
Since this card is, it activates either being synchro summoned or if it's sent to the graveyard.
Okay, perfect. That works out. So yeah, you gotta play that then. Yeah.
So it gets it out of the way. Changes to the deck. If you wanted to run this more optimally, I would say you can cut this Trick Clown for the
Metal Force Fusion?
Yes, for the Metal Force Fusion.
Okay.
Yes. And then in the extra deck, I'm all over the place with the cards, but you cut your these are right here. I'm so dumb. Sorry. You can cut the Cowboy to side in case because of the time card.
Yeah.
And then you can cut like one other card out of the extra, and I would say you cut the Artemis.
Yeah, probably the Artemis.
Because you no longer have Trick Clown. I would cut these two or an Excel start of Synchro, and you cut this for the Burrow.
The Baron. Okay, so yeah, nice. So you get that in addition to that.
Yep. So honestly, I think that's the only changes I would make is the Metal Foes fusion, and then you throw those two in for the extra.
So you told me you played Valor.
I haven't seen a lot of people really utilizing Pac-Bit too much in their main combos.
Yeah,
and
but that
that's
card's
why,
crazy.
Yeah, so the benefits to playing this engine is that you are only weaker, realistically, to Nib. Droll doesn't matter too much because you should always be starting your combos to guarantee you get your field spell.
Yeah.
You always want field spell. So if you can't get field spell, then you don't synchro on their turn.
Yeah.
In which then you have to go for the Crimson Dragon and you leave it on board. So if you end with these two, say you don't get your field spell, you leave this instead of going into your other synchro, because in their draw phase, you can go Crimson Dragon, Legatia, and you lock them in their draw phase instead.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, that's about it for the extra and the main. There's a lot of little synergies that you get to play around with. I really do recommend this version. It still keeps a lot of non-engine space, as you guys saw. The main engine is only, I believe, 25 cards. Roughly 25, 26 cards. So you have a lot of room for non-engine even after that. For more consistency, more power, and more playing power. And last but not least, I guess we'll run over to the side. This is for the Fire King format. This is the first week of it, so I'm still testing things.
Okay.
So bear in mind, we'll go 2 Bell.
Yeah.
Bell is really good in this format, but I'm already kind of overloaded on cards that it would be good for overall.
Yeah.
So you don't really need to go too crazy. And I side the third Nib.
Yeah.
In
those
case,
matchups.
Yeah. You never know. It's good to have access to the third.
Yes.
Because Nib plus another hand trap is really good.
Yes.
Since we're on Superheavy Samurais, we can't really afford a lot of spell cards, so you gotta get a little funky with it. So we're on 2 Druisform as well.
Okay.
It's good for the Voiceless Voice and the Labyrinth matchup.
Yes,
It's also really nice for the Manadia matchup too. If they have an awkward hand, you can always snipe one of the guys.
Yeah,
out
get
there.
their Feast of Starfrost out of the graveyard.
Exactly. Get that guy out of there.
I'm passionate about, like, especially as a young man.
Last for the monsters, we have 3 Phantasme, Yuck Gold Rare, but we run 3 Phantasme because almost every deck that's not Labyrinth is Link Summoning right
Yeah,
now.
this is a Link format we're going into, it feels like.
Exactly. So since we don't care too much about those other matchups, we're covering the matchups where this is not good in, we cover with these cards. So it's kind of like a give or take, and this will help you find your other hand traps.
Okay.
So I would say summoning this versus the versus Fire King, like you could just draw a bunch of cards if they go Princess, or if you need the hand trap now, you do it on the Link Karibo. Because they link really early. So it gives you a monster on board as well.
Yeah.
So really nice. That's it for the monsters. Next up, we have, it's kind of whack, but you do run 3 Cosmic Cyclone here.
This card's so good, this format.
It's too good not to run, and I am willing to give up the Superheavy Samurais if I need Cosmic Cyclones. Don't be afraid to side out the Superheavy package if you need to. Like, throw it in. Actually, the rest of our cards are all back row hates. We run all of this as much as we can. We can't really thrust as easily into this.
Yeah.
So you kind of just have to hard open it, but you draw cards throughout your combo anyways.
Exactly. So you can just get rid of all the rest of the threats.
Yep. And then last but not least, the last card is I love Anti-Spell.
Oh!
I love Anti-Spell.
Yes. Keeping your opponents off the spells.
Yes, and it stays on board as well, which is important. And if you think about it, what cards are people going to use for this? They have to. Are they going to Cosmic it? Okay, well now your field spell is safe.
Exactly.
Now you synchro for free. Oh, are they going to Cosmic? If they Cosmic the field spell, then they're stuck under Anti-Spell.
Yes.
And then the other way that people are going to out floodgates like this is they're going to summon SP Little Knight, and that banishes it. So it's no longer on the in the graveyard. So your follow-up Super Heavy Samurai still work.
Dude, that's so. The synergy is unbelievable.
Yeah, so I think this deck is really cool. I don't know if it's the best of the next format, but I really, really enjoy the interactions that it has.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for the deck profile, Eddie. And subscribe for more.
And then everybody all